This is a National Diaper Bank Network Minute.
15 years ago, Joanne Samuel Goldblum, who had started Diaper Bank in Connecticut, decided that it would take a countrywide effort to end diaper insecurity, and so founded the National Diaper Bank Network. One of her smartest moves was hiring a woman named Jane Dennett to join her fledgling staff. Jane did a bit of everything in the two-room office as the organization rapidly grew. We talked with Jane to reflect on how much things have changed at the organization and on what it means to be a lifelong diaper banker.
It was kind of like making it up as we went along. We knew things about the Connecticut Diaper Bank that were successful. We knew things about a handful of other national diaper banks that were successful. And we were trying to see if those models could expand, um, and how we could facilitate that and how we could spread the word. But on another level, and I think a big reason why Joanne um, and her group of fellow like-minded people wanted to develop the network is that we felt like there were common questions, there were common concerns that our clients had. Um, and there was just this feeling of how we could best help people, and not have to recreate the wheel every time the phone rang.
I remember then listening to you on the phone with women who would call from all over the country and say, I need diapers, what do I do?
Yeah.
Um, and you would spend long periods of time listening to their stories and encouraging them, and while you were also searching around on your computer for some sort of agency, nearby that could help them. I remember that was a difficult part of your job.
Oh yeah. I mean, you had people who were desperate. They had no money. They had kids. They didn't know how they were gonna get diapers. Um, and they were in places, people talk about um, not being near any groceries, or being in a food desert or whatever. They were in a service desert of they didn't know what they could do. And in some places, I called churches, I called United Way offices, I called any kind of nonprofit agency that looked like it helped
Mhm.
families, to see if they had done that. And sometimes little miracles happened, where a church would say, "Oh, sure, honey, have them come to us. We collect diapers every Sunday." So it was a dance, and it was sad. Sometimes it was just so incredibly sad because there was nothing.
I do remember, I think it was in Joanne's office, there was a big map of the US
Yeah,
where a red push pin would be put in every time there was a new diaper bank.
yeah.
Um, which goes back to those phone calls of like, what do I do? There's no help here. Um, that must have been very gratifying to see the push pins get added and like, okay, here's a resource for people in that community at least.
It was exciting for us, and it was also exciting for the people who were working in the communities,
Hmm.
because they were like, "I'm providing a really important service, and these people respect that." And it was that we were all working together. It was like a team.
When Jane started at NDBN, there were a handful of diaper banks in the US. Today, NDBN has more than 240 member diaper banks. When period supply banks are added, the membership goes over 300. But even in those early years when the organization was relatively small, Jane saw a change on a national scale.
There were connections made. There
Hmm.
was an acceptance of the fact that this was a real need, um, and that there were real ramifications for families not being able to take care of their babies. And And people started, instead of saying, oh, well, then don't have children. Oh yeah, all the stuff that you hear that is
Yeah.
totally not helpful. Um, eh, there was a lot of positive response. I know lots of people with all different backgrounds, and they're good people. Well, they're also mothers, brothers,
Mm.
sisters, fathers, grandparents. Um, and it's a common link that I think, when it comes down to it, when you say to someone, how could you let this need go unaddressed when you know that it's damning people, it's limiting them, and it's not right. We can do better than this. We can do better than this. Aren't those great words? Um, and I think everybody knows we can do better than this.
After leaving NDBN, Jane continued to volunteer at the Diaper Bank of Connecticut and at a food pantry, where she never visits without diapers under her arm. She's proud to be, like everyone else in the basic needs movement, a diaper banker.
All of those people who are doing marketing and development and research, they're diaper bankers. They may not think of themselves as diaper bankers. Their description on the resume or whatever, however you get a job now, your LinkedIn or whatever, um, probably doesn't say diaper banker. It probably says, research specialist, nonprofit, coordinator of outreach or whatever. Whatever you are, you're a diaper banker because you're addressing a need that's important. And you might not, and I think this is true, I hope it's still true. You might not think that that's something you're going to do for a while, but every time Bill and I go to buy diapers to bring to the food pantry, it's like,
Uh-huh.
we're still diaper bankers.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and every time I, send, not, I'm not sending tons of money, but every time I send money to the Connecticut Diaper Bank and to NDBN, I'm a diaper banker.
Yeah, you are. You're a lifetime diaper banker.
Yeah, you can't let it go. I mean, it's just like when you see a kid without socks in winter, it's like, oh my God.
If you can't let go when you see someone struggling without basic essentials, you may be a diaper banker, just like Jane Dennett. Visit National Diaper Bank Network.org to find out more.